Hello everybody, welcome to Monday Morning Must Knows. My name is Merlin Rothfeld, and yet again, the markets ascend to an all-time high. The song remains the same, yet another Led Zeppelin reference. So, is there something happening this week that could stir these markets or cause them to maybe turn around or continue this upward trend? Well, I can tell you one thing, it's probably not going to come from the earnings announcements this week. There are just a few to report, so not a lot of exciting stuff. 104 companies reporting earnings this week, and of course, nothing on Monday. On Tuesday, you got Micron Technologies and AutoZone. Wednesday brings you Cintas, KB Homes, and Jeffrey Securities. Thursday brings you some big names like Costco, Accenture, Jabal Circuit, and CarMax. And that, my friends, is it for your earnings calendar. So not a lot. Maybe Costco is the exciting one for Thursday, but no major names to go make our markets go crazy like last week with our FOMC statement. Man, rockin'. Love it. All right, so now we look back at other pieces of economic data. Maybe not that top tier like our inflation data and GDP, but things maybe a little bit lower. Don't worry, we got inflation and GDP later in the week. But how about services and manufacturing numbers? Now, services and manufacturing obviously give us clues as to how our countries are performing. Most of us in the United States are focusing on the US, but we have a lot of other countries reporting their service and manufacturing numbers this week. On Tuesday, we start things off across the pond at 3:15 a.m. Eastern Time in France, followed up by Germany at 3:30. Right on the heels of that, the whole EU at 4 a.m. Then we move over to England, which is at 4:30 in the morning, and then finally winding things back to the United States at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. So Tuesday, a big day for services and manufacturing. So now let's shift our focus to growth. Of course, Jerome Powell at the press conference last week was talking about inflation and unemployment, but he also gave some GDP projections, which really weren't that exciting. It was 1.6 and 1.8% next year. Not fantastic for U.S. economic growth. So what are those numbers going to be showing us? Well, I can't tell you exactly, but I can show you a chart here of the numbers and the expectations of what that might be. You can see right here, we had a negative number the previous month. That was not good. It was negative 0.5. Ooh, that had a lot of people kind of freaking out there saying this is not going to be a good reading. But our preliminary and other numbers have shown a much higher number than that, improvement, if you will. And you can see that little red arrow there highlighting the number that's expected to be at Thursday, that release on the 25th there, Thursday, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Time. The final GDP number is expected to jump to 3.3%. So getting right back on track with those numbers we saw from 2023, 2024, and 2025. Just that one little blip below zero at negative 0.5. So all in all, expectations are that our GDP will come out at a positive number at 3.3%. That should be pretty good. And we have one more piece here. That is going to be the most important piece of inflationary data, which of course Jerome Powell spoke a lot about, which is the core PCE price index. As you can see here, it has been escalating rather quickly over the past few months. Now, right now, expectations are that we're actually going to dip down just a little bit. You see it says 0.3 on your screen there. Well, the expectations are that we're actually going to come out at 0.2. So a little bit of a drop in that core PCE price index, which would be a very welcome sign from the markets. Markets would like to see inflation drop because the more that inflation declines, the more likely we're going to get another rate cut at that October meeting of the FOMC. Remember, right now the markets are pricing in 2 additional rate cuts this year, one in October and another one at the end of the year in December. So that would make 3 rate cuts this year. Markets will probably like to see that. That, my friends, is your Monday Morning Must Knows. Keep your eye on inflation. We'll see you next week.